Hey, how's it going, everyone? Justin again. As always, thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about what should you charge as a mobile mechanic or somebody just simply trying to get their side hustle on, doing some weekend warrior projects, etc. Even if you work at a busy shop or you just do it on the side for fun, how much and who do you charge what to? We're going to talk about that today in the video. This video comes from a fellow subscriber by the name of Kelby Cool. His question during one of my videos was, hey bro, I'm a diesel mechanic for semis and I was wondering if you would do a video on mechanics that do work on the side and how much to charge and how to avoid bad mechanics so you don't have to spend a bunch of extra money. I think it'd be a great video because I'm asked all the time and I'm told that I'm overpriced most of the time and other days I'm way too cheap. Thanks again for the great videos. I love the cheers to those of you that have your beers. I always cheers to you. Get some beer sleeves made up for that. Awesome. Well, thanks for the question, Kelby. So, yeah, this is going to be kind of by person to person, really, and how long have you been doing it for? Who is it exactly that you're going to be doing the work for? Is it a friend, family member, grandma? Is it an acquaintance? Is it somebody that knows you from another person and they just happen to get word that you do it? Or are you passing out business cards and on Craigslist and somebody just called you up out of the blue to see if you would diagnose or work on their car or do a repair for them? So again, very, very by basis kind of situation here. For me, when it comes to certain family members, I would say most family members, I don't charge. I'll just go out, see if I can't help them out, do what it is that I do, and if anything they're like, no, I want to pay, or no, I got to give you something, I'm like, look, you just give me whatever you think the work was worth and we'll just call it good. I'm not going to give you a number. I had no plan of charging you to begin with, and if nothing else and you can't afford much, hey man, maybe a 12-pack of beer, pack of cigarettes, I don't know, a couple energy drinks, pack of cigarettes, depending on like what time of day it is, and then I usually just kind of go from there and they're happy with that. Other times, now this is one thing that I will have the family members pay for is the parts, because I don't always have money to help every single one out. There are certain family members that I know that can't afford it, but they're just trying to get their car on the road, and if I can afford to, I'll usually just pay for the part, especially if it's like mom or grandma or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that would be a huge thing that you can decide to do for them if you can afford to. It might just take care of mama, you know what I mean? Get her back on the road so she can go back to making her money. When it comes to friends, look, it really depends, because if I answered every single, diagnostic / heavy line / small repair job that every friend ever asked me to do, I would never be at work, because I get calls all the time or messages from Facebook saying, hey bro, I need your help. Can you do this? Can you help me with that? How much would you charge me for this? And I'm like, Jesus, man, sometimes I just want to break. And when their cars are so freaking terrible that it seems like it's an every week thing, I would be busy nonstop. I don't want to be that busy. So you have to decide how busy you want to be too. For instance, I had a friend who asked me, hey, how much to do like a transmission stab? Now this guy asked me questions all the time. I was like, look, man, I don't know, $500. You know what I mean? $500. You bring me the car, you pay for the transmission, I'll stab it in. Have you back up and running? If it works, it works. Because if you're going to buy a junkyard one, which I think his intention was, if you buy a junkyard one, I'm going to recommend that you change the fluid and filter and you get some kind of trans cooler line cleaning kit. You're going to have to pay for all that stuff. And if you got a crappy transmission from the junkyard, it doesn't work, and you're still slipping gears, there's nothing I can do for you. I'm not going to warranty it out because you decided to buy it from a wrecking yard. And he's like, all right, cool. So enough said. Other times I've gotten calls where it's like, hey, can you help me out with this thing? And it just seems like it might be more trouble than it's actually worth. And I'm busy and I got stuff to do and I really don't want to do it. And it's just like some kind of an acquaintance. Sometimes I'll charge, or I'll attempt to charge so freaking much that I don't want to do the work, that maybe they just won't want me to do it either. I'll go past dealership prices. I'll be like, yeah, man, look, I'm so busy. If you want me to actually do it and take time out of my schedule, it's $150 an hour. You're looking at least 4 or 5 hours. Oh man, that's a lot. Yeah, I know. Because that's how very little that that's how much I actually want to do it, or how very little I want to do it. That's why I'm putting the price on there, because if it's going to be an extreme inconvenience for me, I'm telling you this is the price of my inconvenience because I don't want to do it. So there's that. Other times it might be an acquaintance or somebody that I actually see quite regularly, whether it's at a store or at work. You know, before it used to be like when I was at the gym, if somebody wants me to check something out real quick, take a look at something, tell them what I think, like, hey, I got some fluid leaking, can you take a quick peek? Or, hey, my check engine light's on, what do you think it could be? I know I could go to AutoZone and get the code pulled, but if you could take a look at it and you didn't mind checking it out, that would be super awesome. And I'm like, hey, if I can do a video on it and you don't mind me being around your car and doing stuff and checking it out, for right now, since I am trying to get more into diagnosis, I've got no problems doing that. So oftentimes I might even throw like some free work in there and just go check it out. If you're really adamant about doing side work, now when I was doing the mobile mechanic thing, I basically charged like half of however much it would cost at an independent shop or a dealership because I wanted the business. That was when I wanted the business. So I might only charge like $50 an hour, and then I would get a labor guidebook, like a Chilton labor guidebook, and I'd look up the labor, like, all right, book calls for like 4 hours, $50 an hour, you're looking at $200 plus parts. So you pay for parts, fluids, this, that, and the other, and I'll bang it out for like $200. Oftentimes, if it was a brake job, since I know how much not just lube and tire shops charge, independent shops charge, and dealerships charge, usually basically to do the front or the rear of any car, you're probably looking at around $400 to $500 to get the work done. I'll usually charge $75 an axle. Bam, 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 get it done. They pay for parts, $150 in pocket. So when you want the work, there are certain things that you can do that you know that you can fly through. So if it's like a transmission fluid and filter and you look at the dealership prices and it's like $330, and you go to independent shop and it's somewhere around $200-ish based on the fluid, because some fluids are different. Like on the Volkswagen, I got to get special fluid by Penstar, and it's like ATF +1, so it's a very special fluid to get. It's very expensive. So, you know, it depends on that pricing, but once they pay for the fluid and the filter and everything else, yeah, I might only charge them like, you know, $50 to $100 to actually do the service, and they might save, you know, $100 or $200. So there's that. So you can actually charge depending on what it is that they're doing it. You know, oil changes, I always tell everyone, I'm not doing an oil change, okay? If you want me to do the oil change that bad, it's going to be $50. I tell you that because you can go to Walmart, which I don't recommend, and I'll show you guys why in another video. It's $20 for the oil change. I can't beat that. You can go to the auto parts store, buy a complete kit, oil, filter, everything, for like $26 to $28. You go to a dealership, it's probably going to be somewhere between $45 and $55, unless it's full synthetic and it's on like a diesel or something like that, because you need more quarts of oil. You might be somewhere in the ballpark of $70 to $80. So I don't do oil changes. I don't care to do them. Other things like, obviously, like AC, I don't have my AC cert or license, so it's not like I can do AC repairs at home. I'd have to have a certified tech that's on spot to be able to do anything like that, in which case I save all that stuff for the shop. I won't do it at the house. I might plug on my gauges to take a look at some of the pressure readings on the low and high side, and use, you know, thermometers and, you know, laser pointers to try to get an infrared reading or some kind of temperature reading on that, or maybe even a sniffer or UV light, but I'm not actually going to conduct an entire repair in my front yard because I'm not certified to do so. So there's certain things that you have to kind of, you got to be smart about it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. You got to be smart about it. So how do you charge? Who do you charge? When do you charge? Again, this is all depending on you and how bad do you want the side work, or how little do you want the side work, what kind of vehicles you're working on, and at what point, what system or what area are you trying to take care of. I'll give you another for instance before we go. Electrical repairs. Now, when I was at the dealership and when I was up in Oregon, it was by the hour. There was no telling on how long it could take. It could take 30 minutes, which you always charge at least 1 hour. It could take 3 to 4 hours to redo some wiring or repair wiring or whatever, in which case it gets expensive pretty quick. So I know some places and people will charge by the hour. I usually charge by how many circuits I got to fix. So if it's just a couple of random little wires that came undone, if it's friends and family, no charge. If it's an acquaintance or something like that, hey man, I don't know, give me a couple energy drinks, I'll fix the 2 wires that are broke. If it's just somebody that called me up that they need it diagnosed and they need it checked out and I find that it's a wire, I might only charge them like, $25 or something like that to repair the wire and to diagnose it, because it was like, well, that was an easy fix. Took me all of like maybe 15 minutes to pull the code, look at the chart, find out where the circuit was, get a flashlight, dig down somewhere deep, find the one wire that was chewed on, strip it, solder it, heat shrink it, put it back together, clear codes, verify, repair the problem, and then go from there. And if it actually worked, then great. And I don't know, shoot me 25 bucks, it's all done. So that's just how I charge. Your way might be different. Again, guys, I try to avoid side work. There are certain times I will take on bigger projects and kill it on the weekend. There are other times that I'm only in it for the education or the experience, and I might just do it for free because I want to get more involved with diagnosing and troubleshooting. That's pretty much my little flow of things. I don't go out of my way to look for it, but if the work comes to me, depending on my mood and what it is that I got going on, that's how I charge. That's all I got for this video. Kelby, thanks for the question. I appreciate it. Thanks as always for watching. If you guys have a different situation or a different way of charging somebody, whether it's friends, family, etc., please put it down in the comments. And don't tell me, oh, you got to charge family because, they're going to ask you a lot and they're just going to burn you if you don't, and they're going to use you and abuse you. Yes, certain family members will use and abuse the situation. Other times, they just need to get out of jail free card. That's all I got for this video. See you guys next time. Deuces.